I'm Mitchell Wotherspoon,
Yeah.
Griffin's dad.
Okay.
My name is Stacey Janae, and I'm Griffin's mom.
Do you prefer the way things are now or the way things were?
I think it's taught us some good lessons, this pandemic, to slow down a bit, that not get caught up in the rat race as much. But obviously, it gets very boring, and it's nice to have a social life, or at least to just, if you want to, go out for dinner or meet up with friends.
Do you think this experience will be a net positive or a net negative?
I think that's overbroad of a question. I think there are many it depends on who you're talking to. I think most kids will say it was a net negative because they miss so much of important years to them. And when you're younger, there's the 1 year means a lot more in the grand scheme of your life. But to me, it'll be, I think, a net positive. I think your father and I are in much better terms than we've ever been, even when we were married. So that's a positive. And Martin is very happy. The dog is thrilled. So that's been a net positive. And I think that you and I have had, more time together than we would have. And that's a net positive. Overall, I think there have been times where we've been on top of each other and it's been stressful and annoying. But I think in the long run, I feel very blessed that I had this time with you. As much as you might not. That's what I mean. It depends on whose perspective.
What lessons have you learned during the pandemic?
I think I got better at cooking, and hygiene, and social distancing, and wearing a mask, and all those things that we're meant to do. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is cooking, funny enough.
Were you concerned about your health before the pandemic?
No.
Are you concerned about your health now?
Not really. I mean, indirectly I am. Just, it scares me to think how, at least in Fort Lauderdale, from what I can see, people just don't want to follow the recommendations of wearing a mask or keeping out of each other's way. Or they're over it, they're sick of doing it. So that scares me a bit, because I don't think we're out of this yet. But we will be soon.
What do you think the difference in between the way Americans have reacted to the pandemic and the way Australians have?
A huge difference in that Australians, if you say to Australians, okay, stay at home, if you have to go out, wear a mask, and you're only allowed out to go to the grocery shop or for a walk. And they do it. And it's made a huge difference. I watch a lot of Australian media, and it's basically over there, They have 2 or 3 people get infected and they lock down that area. I think the government's been good in Australia as well, as far as compensating those people that haven't been able to work. Whereas in America, well, especially now, it's political. People seem to say, no, we've had enough, we're over it, we're gonna just do our thing. Who are you to tell me that I can't, sort of thing, which is why America's America, but there's a big difference.
So you travel to Australia every couple of years to see the family that's over there. Has COVID made you weary of traveling?
Well, I can't. I mean, I usually go at least once a year. Thank God I went twice in 2019. But last year, I mean, I could have gone because I'm a citizen, but you have to quarantine for 2 weeks when you get there in a hotel that the government tells you you've got to stay in. And the flights are really expensive. So it's been tough. Now, Qantas has just announced that if you've got your vaccine, they're going to open it up to go back in October with no quarantine. And next Friday I get my second shot. So got a text one day, hey, you want to make an appointment to go get your vaccine? And I went the next day. Who's going to say no to that? So my second shot is a week tomorrow.
What do you think about the people who would say no to that? The COVID vaccine?
I think that it's the same as those people who don't get their kids vaccinated. I could get very political, but I probably shouldn't. Idiots.
If offered a vaccine, would you take it?
In a second. I would like it now, yesterday. Yeah.
What do you think about the people who wouldn't?
I think that they're selfish. I understand not wanting to put foreign, unproven chemicals in your body, but at the same time, you have to be part of a community. You can't just rely on the community to do for you. I think that people that don't are expecting that, are taking a benefit from everybody else doing it and letting them take the risk and benefiting from the risk without giving anything in exchange. And I think that's selfish.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and ask me another question on the question.
I know.
So what did I answer that makes you want to
I know
ask
how
me
to do an interview.
I think you're stuck to your questions,
I'm not.
to the answers.
Do you think that the way you're living has changed because of the pandemic?
You know, at this point in time, it's almost hard to remember what it was like before the pandemic. So I think I stay up later and get up later. Generally, I watch more TV because there's nothing else to do. I could give you another skill I've learned, which is how to navigate all the different streaming platforms. That's about it, though. So I feel kind of, my answers show that I'm boring. Pretty boring, and maybe I was always boring. I don't know.